You're listening to Foulin Out. I'm Raymond.
And I'm John.
Foulin Out turns 20, the big 2-0.
Ooh, yes. In dog years, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
No? So in people years, we are about, I don't know, what,
Less
45?
What?
7?
No. We've been doing this for what? Since February?
Yes, since February.
So, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. 6 months.
Oh, there we go.
Not too bad.
Yeah. We're still a little baby in human terms and stuff.
Tiny
right?
boy,
Can't
baby
walk
boy.
yet. Maybe we can look at people and shake our toes and poop our pants. But you know what? We turned 20 in terms of episodes, and that's what matters, ladies and gentlemen. And bots.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And, yeah. Robot humans, totally ordinary human beings, not robots at all.
Exactly.
All 104 of you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What do we got on the docket today, brother?
Well, first we got to talk about our sponsor, which is, you emailed it to me.
Yes.
And you where's the email?
I don't have an email.
You were supposed to slide me something, say like, oh, here's our sponsor for today. You did get the sponsor, right?
I may have forgotten to do that one.
Jesus.
I was going to, but then I played PUBG for 6 hours instead.
How am I supposed to make a living? How am I supposed to go to McDonald's every day and order 5 McChickens?
Why don't we get McDonald's next time you're there? Be like, hey, I got a podcast. Do you wanna sponsor me?
Yeah, they'll sponsor anything. They sponsor diabetes, so they'll definitely sponsor this.
Mm-hmm. This is worse than diabetes.
No. Well, it's okay. It's worse than type 1.
Yeah.
But I think it's better than type 2.
Which one's type 2?
Type 2 is the one that you eat your way into. And type 1 is you're born with it.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, I would agree with that. That seems a very fair assessment of like where we rank in the disease hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
As this podcast is a disease, a contagion that will spread.
So just a public service announcement, definitely go talk with your doctor, make a checkup, just to be sure that you don't have any viruses or bacteria things, because we do have our...
viruses, because all of our listeners are bots.
Go check out the malware clinic and get any services and troubleshooting done there.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, but we can't joke around. This episode is filled to the brim with content.
Jam-packed.
There is so much content.
It is overflowing.
Your nuts and bolts are going to fall right out of place.
There you go. We're going to talk NFL preseason. We're going to be talking about the 3 first-round quarterbacks, how they performed, how they did. Then we're going to talk about Pittsburgh, Patriots, our 2 teams, throwing a little Jaguars there at the end about how terrible they are. Then we're going to move on to the MLB. Talk about the 2 wildcard battles. Talk about the players, how they're doing, the big names, who's rising, who's falling. And then we got our 2 famous segments. Who fouled out? 3 big questions, so stick around. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
All right.
So let's get cracking. All right. Raymond, you take us into our first story of the week, which has been Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray.
Number 1 overall draft pick of the 2019 draft.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a rundown. How did he do?
I thought he did very well. Obviously the biggest thing that was talked about was his height. He's 5'10". He did look small out there, like physically, but it didn't seem to be an issue for him. Cardinals, obviously with preseason, it's hard to tell how he'll look for an entire season. He only played, 1 or 2
He only
drives?
played 1 series.
1 series, yeah. So, it's hard to say, what it'll look like over the course of a season once teams start to game plan for him and when he has to do, make in-game adjustments. But on this drive that the Cardinals specifically developed and they probably practiced 100 times just for this game, he looked good. They clearly played to his strengths, his legs, his ability to move out of the pocket. His passes were on point for the most part. He only took 1 sack, but that one, it seemed...
Yeah, that was an offensive line. The left tackle just got beat off the block. So Kyler didn't really have anything else to do because the right tackle also got beat, and he was just surrounded. It was way too quick.
Yeah, besides that, it was very good. he kept plays alive. There's that one play where he got away from a sack, threw it to an open receiver, but the receiver just was out of bounds.
He stepped out and came back in without being forced out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Rookie mistake. But it was a good play by Kyler. So all in all, wasn't a disaster. Obviously can't make any sort of conclusive statement about how it'll look in the regular season. But, you can't say Cardinals made a mistake making the pick just based on that one series.
Definitely not, but I don't think that you can say it was an overall success, too, because if you look at a lot of the throws that he was making, they were quick throws, dink and dunks, easy passes. Nothing was downfield.
Yeah.
And the real thing that I think I'm sort of worried about was that he was only out there for one drive. You see a lot of other quarterbacks that, are starting and are getting their first, real taste of what it's like out there, like Dwayne Haskins, who we'll talk about later. Kyler and Daniel Jones only got one series.
Mm-hmm.
I would have liked to see more from them in terms of just overall gameplay. Like, let them play a whole quarter or a whole half. Let them get some experience, some real-time game experience under their belt. So I don't know if they're trying to hide anything or they wanted to see what their other backup quarterbacks are like. There's really no conclusion that we can come to on Kyler Murray because this is what we thought he would do. We thought he would do a lot of bootlegs. We thought he would do a lot of escaping, which he did. He kept plays alive, and he was able to complete some passes. Obviously, the height didn't seem to be an issue with those kinds of passes. So, yeah, from his only drive that he played, he looked fine.
Yeah. I think, you talked about the fact they didn't make any downfield throws. It'll be interesting if he can step up in the pocket, be able to step into these throws, and not have to worry about taller defensive ends or defensive linemen getting in the way of his passing.
Or even his own offensive linemen.
Yeah, it's tough when you're that height. I mean, Russell Wilson's made a career off it. Russell is a little bit taller than Kyler Murray, but, Wilson is an example of a player that has overcome he doesn't have the traditional, 6'2", 6'3", quarterback height.
Plus, he has a coach that definitely does a lot for him.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll loves Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Cliff Kingsbury loves Kyler Murray, too. So they're definitely on the same page in terms of developing a playbook that suits his style and trying to get him the most success in his career as possible. Yeah. So overall, he went, 6 for 7, 44 yards. He did take one sack, although the offensive line wasn't really helping him out all that much, and there was really no running game that drive either. Mm-hmm. So for one drive, that's all right. It's he did his job.
He got a 92.9 quarterback rating, so that's good, very good. Well, I always get confused because there's two measurements for a quarterback. There's the rating, and then there's QBR.
Yeah, and they have a real QBR. The rating one I think is out of 150.
That's ESPN's own in-house statistic that they created, I believe.
And I think that's the one that we're looking at.
Yeah,
and then there's
92.9.
QBR, I think is out of 100 or something. I think it's out of 100.
Yeah, it's definitely lower.
Either way, I have no idea. They're measures of efficiency, which are good, and I think that's what modern statistics are going more towards. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so far we can't really draw any conclusions from this, and that's probably going to be a storyline throughout the rest of the quarterbacks that we're talking about. But we definitely have some things to talk about, especially with Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah.
But let's get into the next one, and this is the one that everybody thought was going to be terrible. Daniel Jones had a decent night.
He looked really good. Of the three quarterbacks that we're going to talk about today, he was my favorite by far. There's been this trend to moving towards the do-it-all quarterback that can run.
The dual threat, yeah.
The dual threat. And there is some validity to that. Being able to do both of those things makes it easier to run play action, to hide maybe some of your deficiencies in the passing game because you can keep the defense, off balance. But in my opinion, the pocket passer, the guy that can stand in the pocket and pick apart your zone defense, make those tough throws in man coverage where only your wide receiver can get it. Those are the guys, they're going to outlast any trend. And Daniel Jones, on the one drive he had, he looked like another one of those guys that is just going to stand in the pocket and make the throw.
Yep. Now, the word's still out on whether he'll actually be good or not. But he did look very good. And to your point of overall pocket passers, look at the quarterbacks that have a lot of gravitas today. Tom Brady, the essential pocket passer. Whenever he's rushed, he just cuddles up and, falls to the ground. He doesn't try to scramble. Or throws it away. He usually does get it away in time. Peyton Manning, another pocket passer.
Gunslinger.
Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Ben Roethlisberger, Matt Ryan. Yeah, he is a pocket passer. But these are the guys that last a long time and are probably in the top tier of quarterbacks, other than Matt Ryan and probably Ben Roethlisberger as well.
I would say maybe it's recency bias, but I would say Ben Roethlisberger. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
He will. He throws too many picks, though, now.
Manning is the same way.
He wasn't his first few years and stuff, so...
I like Roethlisberger more than I like Manning, but I hate Manning, so it's going to be a little biased.
Obviously. But yeah, Daniel Jones seemed very good, very comfortable in the pocket. It seemed like a weight was lifted off his shoulders when he threw that touchdown, that was his best throw of the night.
Oh, yeah.
He was not really into double coverage. The guy was well covered, but he threw it in a place where only the receiver could get it. And we love to talk about, putting the ball in the right place for the receiver. Mm-hmm. He did that. He did that on a lot of throws. He made a few good slant route throws.
Yeah, the first slant route that he hit, that was a zone coverage. And that's a tougher throw than I think people get credit for. You're thinking, it's a 5-yard little dink and dunk. But you have to time it perfectly because you got to get it in between two guys' zones. And you got to make sure you put it out in front enough that the wide receiver doesn't have to slow down. Because if he has to slow down, then you're not going to get the first down. It was a wonderful throw.
Yep. And it's another route that a lot of receivers don't like because they can just get blindsided when they turn around.
Yeah. Not as much anymore because of rule changes, but still, yeah, it's a tough route.
Definitely. But yeah, this is an emaciated Giants wide receiving core too, and they look good, or at least Jones made them look good too.
Yeah.
Jets. Do we have any news about the Jets and stuff that was going on? Jets defense didn't look great.
No, I think the Jets and the Giants are probably going to be about the same in terms of competitiveness. I don't see either of them winning 7 or even 8. They're not going to win a lot of games.
No,
and regardless of how well Daniel Jones does.
And Daniel Jones probably isn't even going to play this season. It's highly unlikely unless Eli just really shits the bed.
Yeah, it will. There's no reason for Daniel Jones to play more than he has to. I guess there are some instances when I understand why a coach will throw in a rookie quarterback. There's nothing better than game experience for a young player, but there's also something to be said for learning behind a guy like Eli Manning, a guy that's a veteran, someone that's won 2 Super Bowls, and he's performed on a high level for a very long time. So just picking his brain, learning, and then stepping into it next year. It's going to be up to the coach at the end of the day that he's got to see what Daniel Jones is, how he's performing, how he learns, and then make a decision based on that.
Yeah, and frankly, I don't really trust the Giants front office or coaching all that much, but you definitely see a lot of great quarterbacks come from that, walk of learning and then playing like Aaron Rodgers. Mm-hmm. He's the quintessential story of learning behind Brett Favre for 4 or 5 years on the bench.
Yeah.
And then just lighting it up. Tom Brady was the same way, although his career on the bench was a little bit short because Bledsoe went down. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Daniel Jones, best quarterback of the night. Fowler with a great catch as well. But now we have to get into the quarterback that did not have a great first impression. Mm-hmm. So let's break it down. What happened with Dwayne Haskins? What happened to his. He played a lot of series.
Yeah.
He played like 5, 6, 7 series out there. Nothing happened.
I think
Nothing good happened.
Let's start with the good part, because we have to give credit where credit is due. It wasn't just a total disaster from start to finish. There were some highlights. He looked good outside of the pocket. And we knew this about Dwayne Haskins. He's a dual threat quarterback. They ran a few read options for him. They ran a couple bootleg plays, and he looked good in those moments.
Yep.
So that's definitely a strength for him. Aside from that, man, there wasn't much else. He had a few good throws. One that was actually fumbled by one of the Redskins wide receivers.
Yeah, that was his best throw of the night, and the Redskins receiving corps, as trash as they are, screw that one up.
Yeah. But besides that, it was rough. It was very rough. He was telegraphing passes. He was just straight up not seeing defenders.
Yeah, it was pretty atrocious. I mean, the offensive line, too, didn't help his cause at all. I mean, he played like 5 or 6 series and only threw 14 passes for 117 yards and 2 picks. He also took 2 awful sacks. The second one was just, he saw him for like 2 seconds, and he was just running up the A-gap, and he didn't get the ball away.
Yeah.
It was just really, really bad decision-making. His picks, the first one is sort of understandable, but the second one was awful, or the receiver just misread the play and ran a wrong route. There was nothing good to say about the Redskins offense that night, at least when Dwayne Haskins was on the field.
And how much of this do you ascribe to the Browns, actually? I mean, there's a flip side to this. I know right now we're trying to focus on, Dwayne Haskins, but the Browns are a new team, and they came out and made a statement, 30-10 against the Redskins. Do you see this as the Browns' defense is vastly improved, or do you put most of this on Haskins had an off night?
Well, you have to look at the Browns from like where they've come from. They're sort of like the 76ers with the process. They've been building this team for a while, and now they're finally getting to a place where they can actually compete again. I think from the Redskins got beat. They lost this game from the first play. From the first drive. Baker Mayfield just marched down the field in less than 3 minutes and scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
It was like they were doing a 2-minute drill.
Mm-hmm.
And he just eviscerated that Redskins secondary, which, is something that is getting better, and it pretty much made the Redskins front 7 obsolete, a non-factor, because he was getting the ball out, he was finding his open guys, he was getting the ball to his running back too. Chubb was having a good night for the minimal carries, or he only had 1 carry and I think a few passes, or 1 pass that he caught. But yeah, Baker Mayfield has inspired this team. The confidence exuding from the Browns is what's causing them to play excellent on offense within themselves. They're not getting like all crazy and stuff and just making ridiculous throws. And it's really affecting their defense, because now the Browns had been known for defense and stuff in the past, sort of like Virginia Tech football.
Yeah.
But now the defense has like a mentality of just like, oh hell, the offense is actually doing something and scoring points. Like, let's actually do our jobs the best that we can and not just have the whole team rely on us all the time.
Yeah.
So, and the Browns have also been drafting really, really good defensive players as well. So we're finally seeing this talent pool just build, and now it's developing. They have a few years under the belt. So, of course, they're going to be really, really good. So you have to attribute a lot of it to the Browns' overall success in their front office, their success in coaching and development. So yeah, hats off to the Browns all over the place. Receiving, throwing, defense.
Mm-hmm.
It was firing on all cylinders. They had a punt return for a touchdown too.
Yeah. I definitely am impressed with what I saw from the Cleveland Browns, and kind of taking it back to Dwayne Haskins. For him, it's going to be just staying calm. He's a good quarterback. He's shown an ability to read a defense at a college level, and I think to some extent that's a skill set that isn't easily translated to an NFL level, because guys are just faster. They're quicker. They read quarterbacks better. So a window that you had in college that maybe you could make a pass in, you can't do that anymore because an NFL secondary is just going to be able to jump that route better than a guy in college. So I think it's one, trusting your decision making. You can't let your confidence get shaken, because if you let your confidence get shaken, you're going to hesitate, and when you hesitate, that gives an extra second for a defender, and you can't do that. You have to make a decision in an instance, and then also go through your options. If the first guy isn't there, trust that your wide receiver 2 is going to be running his route right. Don't try and force it. That's something that RG3 did a lot in even the season he played very well in. He really liked to go to his first option, even if it wasn't the best option.
Yeah, and I see a lot of similarities, at least from this game with RG3 to Dwayne Haskins. He was throwing a lot of high balls. A lot of high balls that were inaccurate. He did have a few good ones where you think like, oh wow, okay, that's an NFL caliber throw, or that's a great read, and then somewhere along the line his receiver will fumble the ball or it'll pop out of his hands. But yeah, to your point of the mentality, he cannot let this shake him if he wants to win this job going forward. Which I think, he has to beat out Case Keenum, which shouldn't be hard theoretically.
Yeah.
But yeah, this looks to be difficult, and he's also not only just fighting an uphill battle with receivers dropping the ball, Trent Williams not being on the blindside tackle, but he's also fighting management. Redskins management has been the absolute worst management.
Oh yeah.
In sports, other than maybe like the LA Clippers racist owner or Gettleman up in New York with who's the Knicks owner? Who's that terrible?
Oh God, he has a band.
Oh yeah, he's absolutely repulsive. I hate him.
Oh, wait,
Dolan.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he takes the number 1, but Dan Snyder's obviously the number 2.
Wait, I want to find his band.
Keep
going.
I don't know if it's named after him, but yeah, he's.
Oh, it's called.
I don't want to like rant on like James Dolan right now, but it's just like, oh my God, Dan Snyder is going to be fighting the success of the Redskins with everything he's got by making stupid free agent decisions.
Look, I found his band.
Oh, JD and the Straight Shot. What the?
Yes.
He calls himself JD.
Yeah. Here, this is unscripted. We're going off the script. Can we get copyright? If we play like 5 seconds, no one will care, right?
Yeah, dude. I don't think the bots are gonna,
our
fans are gonna report us.
Just listen to this.
All right, play it.
Oh yeah, it's a real banger. I'll skip.
How can everyone be so sure?
He's a good I can't.
I can hear it. It's so bad. It sounds like if you took like any sort of like inspired like Americana, like roots rock, and just like sucked all the inspiration out of it, just like drained it of all like any sort of real artistic vision, and just like slapped out like, yeah, we'll just get like a mandolin and a guitar and like sing about something, like who cares.
Like James Dolan even has been to like places where these songs are written. Like
Yeah.
I bet that he's never driven through West Virginia or Ohio or Kentucky or any like American like a real like heartland American state. He's probably just lived in New York all his life and been fed, like, oh, this is what people in America do. They live out on a farm on 500 acres, and they mine coal, and they do all this stuff, and they love the Knicks.
No one loves the Knicks, JD.
Oh my God, pathetic slob. But yes, anyway, so we have wrapped up our discussion of the 3 major first-round quarterbacks, Kyler Murray, Daniel Jones, and Dwayne Haskins. So let's move on to some of our own teams and how they fared in their preseason openers. So we'll start with my own Steelers.
Yes.
because they looked really good. At least Mason Rudolph did. Dobbs looked all right. And then the other guy that we put in with Hodges, he has a good little sidearm that he throws. We looked very good on offense. On defense, we had a few ups and downs. We made a few mistakes. But Bush looked really good on the 2 series that he played.
Mm-hmm.
But the main story, I think, for the Steelers going forward is that we have Landry Jones out. He's not with us anymore, thank God. Mason Rudolph looks like a very good backup who could be turned into the starter once Roethlisberger leaves. And James Washington is the truth, at least against a shitty Tampa Bay secondary.
Okay. I can agree with that. He looked very good, and especially on that touchdown catch.
Oh, yeah. Snell, on the other hand, our touted running back recruit out of the draft, didn't have a very good night. 13 carries, which was a pretty heavy workload for week 1 of preseason, only 26 yards. He did make 2 catches, though, for 25 yards, in which he did make a good difference there. Our defense did look good on a few sacks. We did have a strip sack from Matakevich. And we had a few other good plays too. But other than that, Tampa Bay sort of was just able to mosey on down the field however they wanted to. Jameis Winston, 5 of 6, 40 yards and a touchdown on his 1 drive of playing. He also had a rush for 10 yards. So defense still has issues, but overall our offense did look good enough, and this is week 1, so I don't know how many conclusions that we can come to other than Mason Rudolph looks really good. And James Washington looks really good as well.
I got to make the point that it seems like every team's first drive always has consisted of the quarterback going 5 of 6, 6 of 7. And it's just a testament to how in this league, because obviously that first drive, even the regular season, it's practiced a ton. In the preseason for that first drive of the first game of the first preseason game, you got to imagine that is something they've been working on since the beginning of training camp. So it's just incredible that, given the time, a well-oiled offense is just literally unstoppable. And because it's across the league, except for the Redskins, obviously, it seems like every single person, they come out in their first drive and they just light it up.
Yeah, and it's really good for a lot of their confidence, too. Because Winston, even though there doesn't seem to be a good backup to replace him, I don't trust Blaine Gabbert as far as he can throw a ball, but he's in the hot seat, Winston is.
Yeah.
Because Tampa Bay, they could draft another one, they could go to free agency.
Bring in Fitzpatrick again.
Oh, my God. Fitzmagic, you mean?
Yeah, Fitzmagic or Fitztragic. It depends on which one you're going to get.
Yeah, if it's the first 2 weeks of the season, it's Fitzmagic, but if it's weeks 5 through 17, he's awful.
No. Weeks 5 through 15, and then to light it up at the end when they don't care anymore.
Oh yeah, garbage games and stuff. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it is a weird trend, but I guess it's an important one, because you gotta settle the nerves, which is what Daniel Jones did, Jameis Winston did. Mm-hmm. But yeah, definitely good look from my Steelers. A lot to go for, looking forward. But let's talk about these Patriots who eviscerated the Lions. Yeah,
we did. We took them to town. Hoyer came out. He was 12 of 14. I think he played 2 drives, ended in 2 touchdowns. He's a consummate pro. He's been doing it for a long time. That's not surprising to me that he came out and just absolutely dominated. Probably when you look at a receiving core, which is sort of the biggest question mark for us coming into the season, with Josh Gordon unlikely to be reinstated into the NFL, Gronkowski retiring, and really even with those additions last year, our receiving core was still not an elite receiving core, so losing those 2 guys really hurt us. So the biggest guy, Jacoby Myers, he had 6 receptions for 69 yards and 2 touchdowns. Quarterback turned wide receiver, the likes of Edelman, from back in the day? Remember when in 2014 when he threw that touchdown pass to Amendola in the playoff game?
I don't remember that. I don't think any of our listeners remember that either, because I don't think they frankly care.
What? No, Edelman, he's a Kent State QB, and it's always nice having a quarterback, a guy that can throw the pass. Like Odell. He's had a few touchdown passes over the years.
Oh yeah.
It's cool to have that in the back pocket. Again, can't really draw too many conclusions.
When Belichick wants to drive up or drop a gadget play.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's out of character, but Brady, you're gonna throw the ball behind you, and Edelman, you're gonna throw it down the field and score a touchdown. If you don't, you're fired.
Oh no. Yeah, that's. I would imagine that's how it went. Probably pretty similar to the actual conversation that happened before that play.
Yeah, he's probably gonna take him out to the woodshed like his running backs who fumbled the ball.
Once you get fumbled, they're never seen again. They just say if you open up like his like shed in his garden, there's just like skeletons like hanging, and says like, oh God. Who is that? Stephen Ridley.
Come here, Shane Vereen.
Yeah, Shane Vereen. He managed to escape to the Giants.
Dion Lewis
supposedly is on the Titans, but I'm starting to think it might be a doppelganger.
Yeah, he's probably dead.
Yeah, Dion Lewis is definitely dead for tearing his ACL that one year. Belichick was none too happy about that. Had to put him down, unfortunately. What was I talking? Oh, yeah, wide receivers for the Patriots. N'Keal Harry, our big second-round draft pick. I had 2 receptions for 36 yards. Only targeted twice. He looked fine. He did get a little injured on one of the plays. It was sort of a late hit. Not. It was just the play wasn't blown dead, even though the play was over. The ref just hadn't blown it dead yet. But it's not serious, so hopefully he can stay healthy, because he has been dealing with a few lower leg injuries over the course of training camp.
Yeah, and he didn't get injured like that dude on Detroit.
Jermaine Kearse.
Yeah, that just died.
That was brutal. He's been working to get back into football shape, get back on the field. This plan for the Detroit team was supposed to be sort of his comeback this season, and then just a brutal injury in a preseason game might be a career, unfortunately, for Kearse. Best of luck to him. Hopefully he gets healthy. He was on that, he made the circus catch, remember?
Yep.
And, man, now he might not ever play another snap of football. It's unfortunate. You hate to see injuries like that at any point, especially in preseason, though. What else for the Patriots? Stidham looked very good. 14 of 24, 179 yards, and a touchdown. Honestly, everyone on the Patriots looked good. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's hard not to look good when the Lions can't tackle anybody or just don't know how to do that. Dude, when we were going through the highlight film, there was like 10 or 12 missed tackles. Some on the same play. Mm-hmm. It was so bad.
Looked like the Redskins' defense from a few years back.
Oh, their defense is made of Swiss cheese.
Yeah, but it's a good problem to have for the Patriots right now. Too many players not know who to cut. It's gonna be tough for Belichick, and I think we'll see more once we get into a few more of the preseason games, who the real players are, and who maybe just looked a little better because the Lions are trash. That's all I got for NFL preseason.
Well, no, we do have the Jaguars.
Oh.
Just fun fact. Fun fact. So, in addition to scoring 0 points against the Ravens, who did not have a good offensive night either, who got less than 300 yards, Jaguars were terrible, and they only netted 3 yards if you include penalties.
Yeah, I think they had 112 yards of total offense and 109 yards of penalties. That is truly abysmal.
Oof!
I honestly love this because you got Jalen Ramsey and all these Jags fans after they made the AFC Championship game, talking about how great they were going to be, and then they come out next year, suck terribly, get rid of Blake Bortles, and then come out their first game of preseason and just look like barely even an NFL team.
Yeah, it was atrocious. Granted, Nick Foles didn't play.
Mm-hmm.
But holy hell, if I'm a Jag fan and I'm all, 50 of them, I'm pretty sad.
Yeah.
I think our fan base doubles the size of the Jaguars fan base.
Yeah. And we have Terminator robot people as our fans, and they just got, stupid people from Florida.
Yeah.
Way less cool.
Stupid Floridas.
Yeah. All right, we got the MLB up next, moving on past the NFL. We're getting close to playoff time for the old baseball.
Yeah, only a month and a half left to determine your fate.
Yes.
Or the Pirates just to lose the rest of the games on your schedule.
Yeah. So we gotta go through this a little bit faster because we spent a lot of time talking about NFL preseason, which is good because I love football.
Yeah.
But let's get through this. We got a battle in the National League for the wild card spot. 3 teams from the NL East. You think Braves probably win the division. They're up 6.
They're up 6 games.
So
they've made some really good acquisitions during the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
It looks pretty well set in their favor.
But 3 teams vying for the 2 wild card spots in the National League. The Phillies, the Mets, and the Nationals. Right now, the Nationals have a half-game lead for that number 1 spot in the wild card. After that, you got you actually have the Brewers tied. Let me actually check on this.
Yeah, the Brewers are up there. The Mets are making a comeback right now.
Yeah, it's Brewers. So the Nationals are actually 1 game up. Then the Brewers got the second, have sole possession of the second wild card. Then the Cardinals a half game behind, as well as the Phillies and Mets. So we got a 3-way tie for being a half game out.
Not to mention the Diamondbacks are also a little bit close. They've been making a 3-run or 3-win stretch right here.
Mm-hmm. So they're 1.5 games out. So there's a lot of competition in the National League. But looking specifically at the 3 teams in the NL East that are looking to make a push, last night it was Nats-Mets, a big game in this wild card race. 3-3 in the 7th. Rendon hits a 2-run homer to make it 5-3. Big hit. It was classic Rendon. Just, he's got that beautiful swing. He puts it into the left field dugout, or not the dugout, bullpen. And then Turner steals home in the top of the 9th to stretch out the lead to 6-3, and then the bottom of the 9th. Granted, this Mets team has been red hot, including this game. They've won 14 of their last 15. They're just firing on all cylinders.
Pow, pow.
Yeah, just incredible.
That was me firing
on all cylinders. Yeah. You only have 2 cylinders.
I only have 2 cylinders. It's a 2-cylinder engine, but just working with what the Lord gave me.
Yeah.
It's what you do with it that matters.
What does that mean, John?
I don't know.
Yeah, me neither.
But moving on, talk about these cylinders that the Mets have.
Yeah, so they come in, Doolittle immediately gives up a base hit. He gives up a dribbler down the down the third base line that managed to slip by Rendon. It turns into a double, and then he gives up another base hit, so it's first and third, no outs. He looks completely lost out there. Todd Frazier steps up to the plate, and I don't know what Doolittle was thinking, but he gives him a center fastball that Frazier he's like, all right, I mean, I guess I'll hit a home run if you want me to.
You just gave me this meatball. I have to eat it.
Yeah.
No.
6-6, right? In an instant. And then they walk it off 7-6. And it was a total meltdown by Doolittle. The Mets had 5 hits the whole night, I believe, and then they get 6 in that 1 inning. Just unbelievable.
He did live up to his name, though, like Doolittle. He did
very
little.
We did a lot to help the Mets out, honestly.
Yeah, but there's like some people like they're like, oh God, oh no, is The Rock moving?
Oh no.
Is he coming?
No.
All right.
You got to step on
All
him.
right, just got.
Is he coming out?
I don't think so. Hopefully not.
Maybe he'll come back later.
Let's just get on with the next part of our MLB discussion.
All right.
Battle in the AL.
Yeah.
So we've been keeping up with our boy Yasiel Puig.
Mm-hmm.
He, in the past 9 games, he's had 11 hits for 4 RBIs with the Indians.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
That's what they were looking for.
Yeah, and they're in a tight battle right now with the Twins for the AL Central.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think anybody else is gonna? I don't think there's any wild card being thrown out there in that division. Oh, cool! One of our producers just brought us some sandwiches and stuff right now, so we'll definitely have to get on that as soon as possible. Oh my god! But it does seem like here, pull up the So are they both tied right now for that wild card spot?
Yes, they're both 3.5 games up. So one of them will get the division, and then one of them will end up getting the first wild card spot, presumably. I mean, obviously anything can change.
So go back to the regular stand. Who's in first? Or they're both
tied.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, and then there's nobody else in that division that's even worth mentioning. Holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely an interesting race to see. That will definitely be tight because I think the other 2 wild card spots are going to go to the Rays and the Red Sox. At least Red Sox right now, right?
So you think... Well, right now it'll be the Rays and then like the Twins, and then the Red Sox and Athletics are on the outside looking in. So
yeah, A's actually have a better chance than the Red Sox.
Yeah, Red Sox, because of that horrid 7-game losing streak they had, they are going to need to do a lot in order to get back into the race. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
But yeah, other than that, in the MLB, do we have anything else to update our listeners?
Oh, I actually did want to mention something. Did you see the highlight of Brett Gardner getting thrown out of the game because the umpire thought... So let me give it a little context.
Right, context.
So it's, I think it was the Yankees Rays, I believe. Yankees Blue Jays. One of those. And the ump was not giving favorable calls to the Yankees. And there had been some, murmuring by the guy getting rung up, the, Yankees manager coming out, talking to the ump. So there had been a little bit of hostility throughout the course of the game. And at one point, the ump makes another bad call. And apparently he hears something from the dugout, who he thinks is Brett Gardner arguing with the call. So doesn't even look over. Most veteran umpires will be like, all right, that's enough. And if they keep talking, then you get tossed. This guy, no look, throws him out. And then Yankees manager comes out of the dugout and he's like, who you throwing out? And he says, Gardner, he's gone. And he's like, no, that was me. I was the one yelling at you. And the umpire says, he's like, no, I'm throwing out Gardner. And Gardner, if you look at the replay, when he's getting thrown out, he's drinking water. So he couldn't have even said anything if he wanted to. I thought that was just an interesting thing. You talk about umpires in this league, for the most part, pretty good. And this wasn't an Angel Hernandez situation. This was a young umpire. I'm not sure of the name. But just a poor decision. You gotta look. You gotta look to make sure you're throwing out the right person.
I don't know. It's just, it comes with age, though, And it's weird. These umps must be like some rebel umps, because I've never heard of umps not giving favorable calls to the Yankees.
I know.
It's so weird.
You gotta... When there's no salary cap, you just start handing out checks to the umps before the game.
I don't know. Maybe the Blue Jays gave them some, coupons to whatever Canada stores that they have.
Yeah, what's the store? Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons. The old Moose Shop.
Ye old Moose Shop. what's another? You know those stores we got? They're like Panera. They're called like Au Bon Pong.
Oh yeah, Ombopong.
Yeah, we got those at the old Virginia Tech. That's probably like a Canadian store because it's French.
Yeah, and there's French people that live in Canada.
Yeah, you
somewhere.
ever heard of Ontario?
It's Quebec. You ass.
What? Ontario's also a place in Canada.
Yeah, well, yeah, but the French people live in Quebec.
They also live on Ontario.
No, you're wrong.
All right.
All right, we are Googling now to see where the French people live in Canada.
Ontario French, question mark?
French is 4.1% of 549,000 people in Ontario who identify as French.
French as their mother tongue. You mother...
My mother tongue?
Fucker.
No. Go search Quebec. Search Quebec.
Wait, isn't Ontario in Quebec?
No, they're both provinces.
No.
Yeah, okay. Look, see how that's Quebec?
Okay.
Now search Ontario. You look at the same. We're looking at a map displaying the provinces in red.
Quebec is on the far right side, kind of near Newfoundland.
And Ontario is that province that has Toronto and is above the Great Lakes. You idiot. You can't even study like 5th grade geography.
Dude, this is why I lose in GeoGuessr all the time.
Yeah, because you're stupid.
God, I am dumb.
Granted, he is right on the border of the French territory.
Oh, look, it's Ottawa. That's what I was getting confused. Ontario, Ottawa. It's all the same.
Oh, it's all the same. Well, we got to apologize to them, so sorry, Canada.
Sorry.
We'll get that right on the next episode.
Yeah, baseball, not very popular in Canada.
They do have the Blue Jays. They have won a few titles.
Basketball's popular in Canada now.
Yeah, because they're the North.
Yeah, we the North.
All right. But no more baseball. We're done talking baseball. Because you know what? We're talking with our favorite segment right now. So let's give it up. Let's get it going for Who Fouled Out. Raymond, I'll let you start it off this time.
All right,
Who do you got?
Remember how you said we're not talking baseball? So I'm talking baseball because I'm fouling out.
You
do little.
How dare you make me look like an idiot
You fool.
on this show? But anyway, go on.
Doolittle. We talked about it. He had a meltdown. Just an absolute meltdown of a game. Look, I like Doolittle. I think he's a good closer, right? And I use that word. That's not a word that I just pulled out of thin air. That's how good is exactly how I would describe Doolittle. Not great, not bad, not mediocre, not average. Good.
Not decent? Would decent be a synonym?
No, I think he is better than decent.
Oh, all right.
I legitimately believe that.
So like a 6 out of 10.
6.4 out of 10.
Ooh, all right.
I don't want to give him 6.5.
That's fair.
He generally gets you out of the inning. Is it always clean? No. I would say he'll give up a hit, but he'll get you home. He'll get you home safe most of the time. He's 4th in the National League in saves. I think he's like 24.
It's like 2-ply, or it's like 2-ply toilet paper.
Yeah.
It's better than the 1-ply stuff that you find at Walmart and that you have to use in public restrooms.
Yeah.
But is it Charmin? No. So yeah, you're going to have some skid marks when you get up. But you know what? You don't realize that till an hour later, so it gets the job done.
I couldn't describe it better. Just an incredible analogy. Truly amazing. The thing is, Doolittle, he was our best pitcher in the bullpen before we got all these acquisitions at the trade deadline. And honestly, I would still say he's probably our best pitcher. Hudson has looked good. Rodney has looked improved. Strickland, it's hard to tell. He hasn't pitched a lot. But Doolittle is good. But in this game, the 3-run shot that he gave up, he did that like he was trying to do it. Double, single, home run. Like that. Easy as can be. He couldn't have scripted it better. It's really befuddling to me that you got a guy on 1st and 3rd, right? you should be going to your off-speed stuff. You're trying to get a double play in that position. You let one run score, you have a 3-run lead. You have a little bit of wiggle room. You don't got to force a strikeout in that situation. And he gives him a fastball right in the zone. I mean, granted, he probably didn't want to throw it in exactly that location, assuming he just missed. He was probably trying to throw it high. But why not go to your off-speed stuff? Your changeup. Try and get something on the ground. I just don't understand. I will say, I got to give Martinez credit. He didn't pull Doolittle after that 3-run shot. He let him finish his own mess. In this case, he didn't finish it. He actually walked. Well, he did in so many ways. He did finish it.
Yeah. He finished it by making even more of a mess.
Yeah.
By losing.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's who I got fouling out. It was a really pathetic blown save in a game that the Nats absolutely needed, and it only fuels just that like burning red hot Mets team, and it just gives them that much more to inspire them to keep playing and keep trying to win games. And this demoralizes the Nats. And now they got 2 more games, and the pitching matchups are definitely in favor of the Mets. So the Nats have got to find a way to win these next 2. That's who I got. What about you?
Me, this one used to be close to home, but this one, Antonio Brown. What a little princess. Holy hell. First, he has to leave the Steelers because he's not getting enough respect, even though he has, the most balls thrown to him by far of any receiver, more than Julio Jones. And he doesn't like Ben. He doesn't like the Steelers front office. He wants to be, I want to be traded. I want to go somewhere else. And the Steelers just like, cool, get off our team. And, John Gruden's there waiting in the whatever. He's waiting in Oakland, just be like, yeah, Antonio, you can come out here and play ball with the Raiders.
Yeah.
Or however John Gruden talks and whatever stupid sayings he has.
That was a pretty good, your face. I know the viewers at home or listeners at home can't see it, but your face looked exactly like John Gruden.
I'm going to tell you, this guy, he definitely has the guts to do what he needs to do. I like to see him on the field. All right, I have to listen to him a bit more, but he annoys me a little bit. But now it's I need my feet frozen in cryogenic freezers in order for them to be at top potential. And now I need a helmet. My helmet.
It's not right.
It's not. I don't like it. I can't see it. It hinders my vision. Wham! That's all I have to say. Wham! Thank God he's off the Steelers. I'm happy he's gone. And he's going to be nothing but cancer for this locker room and cancer on the field. Because Derek Carr is not as good as Ben Roethlisberger. So he's going to bitch and moan when he doesn't get the ball.
Yeah. Just like he did with Roethlisberger.
Yeah, and he's going to ruin Derek Carr. So, yeah, that's who I have found out. The warning signs are there. We'll be able to see it in the Hard Knocks episode, too. Mm-hmm. This dude is cancer.
Yeah. I think Steelers got out ahead of this one as best they could. Moving on. 3 big questions.
Let's wrap it up. Let's keep the intensity going.
All right. I got a question for you.
All right. Fire away.
Who's to blame for the poor showing by the Redskins? I know we talked about Dwayne Haskins and his issues, but do you think there's a larger issue at hand here?
So with Dwayne and quarterbacks in general, you have to learn to take the blame in press conferences and all that stuff, even if the blame isn't your own. Here, it is his blame. Yes, the offensive line was going to be bad, but we knew that. The receiving was going to be bad, but we knew that. We had a lot of hope about Dwayne Haskins, and to come out and perform the way that he did, it's definitely on him. Throws were awful, high, often in places that the receivers couldn't get it or had to do something and, make an athletic move in order to get it. Receivers just weren't running their routes, so something was going on in the huddle or, when calling the plays, that they weren't on the same page. And that all comes back to coaching and the quarterback. So I definitely feel that while the Browns were great on defense, like we discussed earlier, and great overall in setting the pace, the tempo, and the confidence just exuding from them, Haskins has to get the blame.
and you touched on it a little bit, but I want to know how much you put on Jay for the deficiencies, because I mentioned earlier how it seems like every team came out and they had really practiced this first drive, and in my opinion, the Redskins didn't look like they had as much. They didn't seem as ready as some of these other teams even with rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah, of course we can talk about that, but I think a lot of the blame with Jay Gruden has to go to just his overall developing of players. It's trash. Like, he was the guy that was praised for developing, Andy Dalton. And look what Andy Dalton's turned into. Just a big, mediocre mess. That's all you're going to get with him. And he hasn't developed receivers. He hasn't developed an O-line. And, the O-line, okay, we got Scherf. But Williams is going. We're not handing him the money that we need to give him or something. Or he's just unhappy or wants to go smoke weed again. Whatever Trent Williams' issues are. But we've seen time after time, play calling's been bad. With Jay Gruden and with Redskins coaches in the past, like Jim Zorn. Good Lord. It goes deeper than just not having your first drive planned out. It goes to not having a competent set of receivers, coordinators, and overall intermediary coaches that help develop these players to become the best NFL caliber type that they can be.
Yeah, I think that's fair. You have to give some blame to Haskins for the way he performed. You can't say, oh, it's all the coach's fault. It's all the general manager's fault for putting together a crap team. But at the end of the day, Haskins is a young quarterback. He's going to make mistakes. It's on the coach to minimize those mistakes. Does that seem fair?
It's fair. Totally fair. This is a tough question, but I definitely feel it's one that should be asked. But it can be forgotten about if they do well week 2.
Mm-hmm.
So, next question. Can the Nats win a playoff series with Doolittle as their coach, or as their closer?
Mm-hmm. You moron. You idiot. You don't even know how to read, you dumb idiot.
Well, you spelled there wrong, but anyway.
Okay. Those in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, Jonathan.
You're saying that grammar not good?
Yes.
Okay.
Stupid science bitch couldn't even make guy more smarter. Name that quote.
Always Sunny, Philadelphia.
Yes, there you go.
But answer my question.
Okay.
That's what's more important for our robot listeners.
Yes.
I mean humanoid listeners.
Yes. To me, the answer is no. And that's not a knock at Doolittle. It's a knock at the Nats because they had Melanson as their closer, and they still can win. And Melanson is a better closer than Doolittle, in my opinion. I mean, you'd probably agree with that as well.
Of course I would. I mean, when he was with the Pirates, he was one of the best in the business.
Yeah. It'll be interesting now. Presumably the Nats will make the playoffs. It seems like it. Maybe they'll have a meltdown in September. Who knows? But it'll be interesting to see. Rendon's now the guy for the Nats. He's going to be the one that people are going to look to really drive that lineup, move the lineup. And then they got, Soto, a young guy, playing a major role on this Nats team. They're going to have to put up runs with this bullpen in order to win a playoff series. And can they do that? Because in the past, they've shown an inability to get hits and score runs on a consistent basis in the playoffs because of nerves, of better pitching, of whatever it may be. And they've never had the bullpen that can win you a game if you only give them 2 runs and a 1-run lead or something like that. And Doolittle just, in my opinion, he's going to blow a major save. But on the flip side, last season, Red Sox won the World Series. Kimbrel, who's usually an elite closer, had a bad showing in the playoffs for a large part of it. And, man, they still were able to win. And that's also in part to the rest of their bullpen pitching incredibly, pitching way above their pay grade. But Red Sox showed that you don't need your closer to pitch at an elite status to win if you could just get two out hits like it's your job. I don't know if the Nats can do that though, so that's why I'm gonna go with no for that answer.
Totally fair answer, and that's the answer that I think I was leaning to too, because his name is Doolittle. How can you hire a guy that's Doolittle?
That's like that kicker whose name is Blewett.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, I was gonna make a reference to it. Great minds think alike.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, he's actually a decent kicker who doesn't he doesn't blow that many.
Mm-hmm. And Doolittle usually does a lot, but we'll see.
All right, final question.
Final
Fire it
question.
off.
What do you make of the new NBA rule requiring bachelor degrees? It's not an NBA rule, to be fair. It's an NCAA enforced rule.
For requiring bachelor's degrees for agents of players. This is just dumb. This is completely un-American. Like, why do you need to jump through all these hoops and ladders and, rings of fire in order to... Being an agent doesn't require a college degree.
I would agree with that.
You don't need a communications degree to know how to talk with people.
Yeah.
That's innate. There's some innate skills and life experience about dealing with a lot of these, like big-time players, big offices and stuff. That's what really matters. And it's going to hurt like NBA players who left early from college. So people like LeBron James who now cannot, negotiate, directly. Or a lot of people who may just be like good agents already that just didn't finish college or didn't go to college.
Rich Paul. They're calling this the Rich Paul rule.
Yeah. He's a great agent. So I think it's just stupid. It's a way for the NCAA and colleges to rack up more money in order by forcing people to go through college again, because everybody's, college degree is so valuable. It gets you the key to the world, which is BS. You make your own key, and then you make your own world and your own success, for the most part. You don't need to go to, UVA or William and Mary in order to, find out, or waste, $100,000 there learning stuff you already knew.
It seems like the NCAA is gatekeeping. What they're trying to maintain a stranglehold onto, on the basketball,
prospects.
Yeah, prospects. The development of these future NBA stars, and this is just another step in that direction to try and hold on to that.
Soon they're going to be forcing international players to go to NCAA schools if they keep doing that, and if the NCAA continues to have this much power.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb. I hope the NCAA just gets neutered.
Yeah, it is. I mean, a part of it, it's going to suck not being able to watch the same talent level in at the college ball level, but at the same time, it'll level out. You'll be able to see, maybe smaller schools compete a little bit more in these tournaments. Duke isn't going to have R.J. Barrett, Cam Reddish, and Zion William on the same team.
Yeah, I can't wait to actually see more balanced games. But then, all the people watching that want to see Duke and Kentucky just beat the shit out of Maryland Eastern Shore. What about them? We have to reward our alumni.
Yeah.
Who went to school there. Who cares?
Yeah.
I want to see some good games. I want to see some competition every night.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but we want to see the Duke UNC. We want to hell with that.
Yeah. The tickets are so insane for that Zion Williamson game, and then he gets hurt in 3 seconds.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Was great. That was great. I love that.
But yeah, that's all we got for you. That was a big episode. Lots of content. You should be very happy.
Yeah, if you're not happy,
we'll get a sponsor. We'll get a sponsor and make you happy by selling them their product for them.
Yeah, we'll start selling McChickens. They're $1.29.
They're $1.49 here. $1.29 down in Greensboro.
Oh, and then $1 in Blacksburg.
$1 in Blacksburg. $2 in Tyson's Corner. So avoid that McDonald's Satan.
Mm-hmm.
Unless
I
you
always
like
this part of our show where we talk about fast food. We do that on occasion.
I would love to do that, but I don't want to anger the almighty review bro.
Oh yeah.
I love him so much.
Yeah, we can't that's it's like a drug dealer when you start selling on one of the other gangs corners. They come in like kill your sister or something.
Yeah, like I don't like Review Broad's gonna run me over in his car with his
Yeah.
suit on or something.
And then he's gonna look at you and say, "My disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined."
Yeah, I'm not running on empty anymore.
Oh God. But that's all we got.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, guys. And we'll see you next week. We'll have a special episode. John will probably be calling in from the old B-Berg.
Yeah, from an undisclosed. Oh, well, you just gave it away.
All right.
B-Berg. Yeah, I'll be on the phone. I'll be talking with a lot of our a lot of famous sports people, getting a lot of info. Adam Schefter will be there.
That's just a lie.
Oh yeah, true. We can't lie to our bots. I mean, human.
They can
listeners.
see right through us.
That's true. But anyway, that's all we've got. Let's round it out with that crazy theme music that we all love. And
Here
we'll
it goes.
We'll see you. Let's play it. And we'll see you on the next episode of Foulin' Out.